Okay, welcome. So we are going to start now. If you can see my screen, please can you type on the chat if you can see my screen? So we'll start fully. You can type on the chat if you can see. Let me know if you can see my screen. Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay. Okay. So, my name is Dotmie Stephen. I am the host for today, and welcome to Parents and Kids Corner Parent Panel Live Session June edition. So, I'm just going to go over what Parents and Kids Corner is all about, and I think that will give enough time for others that have registered for this event to join in. So, Parents and Kids Corner. So about Parents and Kids Corner. So PKC for short is a community for all things parenting. We are a Christ-centered group focused on raising intentional parents. We are all about a healthy upbringing of a child. We stand on the principles of child development, that covers all their spiritual, cognitive, physical, emotional and social development. So that's what the community is all about, giving parents important information that will help them in their children's development. And our goal is to promote respectful and godly early childhood practices, to promote intentionality in parenting, to build parenting skills across being a parent or not, to promote the idea of parenting and for parenting from joy, peace, and love. And also to encourage all-round holistic development in children. Yes, we don't want parents to just be focused on one aspect because we believe that in order to make the whole, every part of the child has to be focused on. And our mission, the mission of PKC is to promote respectful and godly early childhood practices through organized learning sessions, activities, consultations, trainings, and conferences. So parents or guardians can better understand children, be more intentional in parenting, and adopt healthy and holistic parenting skills. So which is one of the events now we are holding today. It's all about creating an opportunity for parents to learn more. Okay, so that's all about PKC. So we promote intentionality in parenting. We try to challenge parents to do things that, will help them bond better with their children, have this meaningful bonding time, which overall, scientifically speaking, it gives a lot, like it builds a lot in children. So, before I invite our guest parent, I'm going to read his bio, so you know who we are inviting, who is here with us, and ready your heart and your mind to receive what he has for us today. Mr. Lawrence Oguni is a dedicated educator and lecturer in the Early Childhood Education Department at the University of Ibadan, Oyo State, Nigeria. His passion lies in shaping the minds of future educators, parents, and fostering a love for learning in young children. Currently pursuing a doctorate degree in early childhood education at the same institution, Mr. Lawrence combines academic rigor with practical experience. His research interests span child development, curriculum design, and innovative teaching methodologies. Beyond academia, Mr. Lawrence wears multiple hats. He is a devoted husband and proud father to a lovely daughter. Together with his wife, they practice intentional parenting, emphasizing empathy, communication, and holistic growth for their child. Mr. Lawrence's commitment to education and family underscore his belief that nurturing, sorry, Mr. Lawrence's commitment to education and family underscores his belief that nurturing young minds is both a privilege and a responsibility. His journey continues as he contributes to the field of early childhood education and inspires the next generation of educators and parents. This is amazing. This is amazing. So much for me right now. This is already giving me an excitement because there is so much to learn from our guest parents today. And there's so much to learn from him today. So before I give the floor to our guest parent to come in, I would like to start with the formal introduction of our topic. So today's topic is holistic child development home practices, the promise of playful parenting. And I know holistic development is something maybe some of us have come across and maybe some of us we've not, but it's all about bringing every part of the child together. Like you are trying to pay attention to every part, not just one part of your child, so that at the end of the day you bring an overall growth in your child. So and what inspires today's topic is actually, this month June, it's we had 1st of June was World Parents Day, and the topic, the theme of this year's World Parents Day is the promise of playful parenting. And when I saw that topic, I was like, this is something that needs to, be talked about. Parents need to learn a lot about this. They know a lot about it because it brings a whole lot for children when you give them the room of playfulness in parenting. Yes, there's always balance, but when you give them the room, it does a whole lot for them in their development. And yes, so that was what brought about this topic. But then we are going to, hear more professional and experienced talk about it from our guest speaker, Mr. Lawrence Oguniyi. So I would be giving him the floor right about now so he can, just take us away in this amazing topic. And just to let us know, in case the meeting goes off at any point, you can always join back because we are using just the 40-minute plan of Zoom. So in case it goes off, you can always click the link to join back, and it connects you immediately back to the meeting. So once again, let's welcome with warm welcome our guest parent, Mr. Lawrence Oguniyi, as he talks about the whole idea of playful parenting, how parents can actually increase the relationship, the parent-child relationship from early years, and also the science behind, like, why should I actually as a parent invest my time in giving enough time for my child, in like giving them the promise of playful parenting. So join me as we welcome Mr. Lawrence Oguniyi. Sir, you can unmute now. Yeah, welcome, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate the effort to bring me here. I'm really grateful. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Let me use the video. Okay, well, the topic before us today is playful parenting. Well, actually, funny enough, I prepared a slide. My wife encouraged me to prepare a slide for this presentation. I did,
Okay, sir.
helped.
Okay.
However, I could not. So funny that I cannot use it because just about few minutes to this time, my baby threw a bottle, from my back. She was playing behind me. She was just behind me playing, and then she threw a bottle and broke the screen of the system. So,
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
so, I, so I have to make do with what I have. Okay, now,
Okay.
uh, so the playful parenting is quite important. It is It is an approach that, is used to help children, and parents connect. For example, it helps you to be able to connect to your children or to your child and help to solve problems and then encourage confidence. Now, I don't want to be speaking, too much literature and all that, but I just want to come from the angle that probably we may be familiar with. You will remember that the family is the basic unit of the society. In fact, it is the basic unit of the church. It is the basic unit of any organization. Everyone from that place comes from the family, and it is expected that the family is the first school, where any child we attend. In fact, the first few days of life is filled with learning, and the first few months of life for children is also filled with learning. And in that way, uh, the children are affected by the environment by which they find themselves. Children do not have a control over the environment they find themselves, but as soon as children are born, they begin to adapt to that environment. Now, you see, this adaptation is very, very vital to everything that is going to be happening later on in the future. And so the approach that parents, adopt in raising their children or in training their children matters a lot. Apologies. I do say that there's a difference between raising children and training children. Sorry. Okay. And that training children is something that is intentional in nature, very intentional in nature. And why raising children is more or less like just providing the basic things that children need. But you see, the way children grow within an environment is premised on what has been done and what has been left undone. And so when we talk about playful parenting, we're not talking about the fact that you spoil the child, you spare the rod and all those things, and then so children become spoiled. That's not, we have to balance things. Okay, so the essence of playful parenting is, to help nurture close connection and solve behavioral problems and encourage confidence. Most of the things that you see in children as a result of what they picked up from the environment. In fact, there's a particular theory, that's ecological system theory, that says that children are affected or are influenced by the environment in which they live. And the first environment in the microsystem is the family. And so, and the parents form the basic, strength of the family. And so, one thing that is very important is for us to understand that there's a need for playful parenting, a way to engage your child. It involves play-based activities that you can do at home, to engage your child and ensure that you connect well with them. I'll be citing instances just to provide context to what I'm trying to say so that you don't get lost in the midst of the presentation. Okay. Now, let me say that, for me, I've been studying children, so I understand that children are miniature adults. They learn by imitations, and children love to learn from you. They love to do whatever you do. You will notice when a child is about 1 year, 6 months, 1 year, 2 months, 2 years old, they begin to do everything you do in fact, sometimes you begin to smile and laugh at them. However, they also begin to do stuff or things that you may not approve of. They might, you might be thinking you want some rest. They don't want you to have rest. They just want to do, they just want to play. They just want to do this. But you see, one thing that many parents have failed to realize is that you think that the time you begin to give instructions, you begin to train your children is when probably they can now speak and all those. No, learning, parenting begins from even when the child is few months old. and the things that you begin to do there is you begin to get involved with them. One of the things I try to do with my own, daughter is, I need to create a kind of connection between us, such that, I'll be able to understand her and what she needs, and she also will be able to, listen to what I want. It's maybe funny that you see my daughter is just 1 year and about 6 months. How can she understand what I'm doing? How can I be able to, involve myself with her? For example, I remember one of the basic thing is for in order to, do playful parenting, is to create time. I understand that people are quite busy, with whatever activity, church, work, house chores, and all that. But you see, when we neglect children and we leave them in the world of their home, you begin to see less of yourself in them. You see, you mold the kind of child you want. You mold the kind of intelligence that you want to see in your children. No matter how tired I am, when I get back home, in fact, when I'm knocking the door, I become intentional. You might see me because I'm doing early childhood, but you see, if you understand children, you will see it's really wonderful, to have them around, and they do understand. So as little as she is, once I come and I knock the door, I begin to call her name. That's my first style. And so once I call her name, I knock the door, I call her name. You begin to hear the excitement. She shouts. She comes to come and open the door. She can't. She run inside, call the mom, and be screaming. By the time I come in, the first thing is to hug her. Although the next thing she's going to do is to go to my bag, Daddy must bring something. And play begins. Sometimes we probably do hide and seek. Sometimes we chit chat together. So you might not be able to hear exactly what she's saying, but we chit chat, we talk, and then we mumble words together, we laugh and all that. And I understand one thing. You might probably feel that, okay, maybe that's just a waste of time, but it's not a waste of time, because what we're trying to do is to develop a kind of connection. That's the first thing. Because when you spend time and try to come to the level of that child, you develop a connection, a deep connection between yourself and the child, such that the child is able to connect with you easily. And as they grow up, you may not need too much of, you may not need the rod, so to say, in the sense of it, because the child would actually, be able to understand, listen to you, and be able to walk the way you want them to walk. So the input begins from that level. And for children to enjoy their childhood, there's a need for us to be engaged by giving them the time that is required to connect. So let me cite this instance. Okay, one day we were in the room, and then we had this. She went to pick a tin of milk and some other things, plastic, and then she was stacking it on top of each other. Nobody taught her to do that. That's just self-initiated play. That's what we call self-initiated play in early childhood. Nobody taught her to do that. She was stacking it on each other. And so she was almost done with that. Then she brought one of it, put it on the bed, went to take another, put it like that. So I told the mother, I said, watch what I will do. Then I picked one and I hid it. So when she came back, she checked, she stood and she was looking. She looked at me, she looked at the mother, she looked at the stuff, and then she looked downwards, and then she began to look for it. So I was telling her, you see that she knew that she kept two things here. Somebody picked one. She couldn't ask us, but she was looking around. She was almost crying until I brought it out, and then she was happy and excited, and then we started doing it together. Now, what just took place there is learning. And that is actually playful parenting. That's what playful parenting is. What just took place there is learning, because she decides to learn and to say, I will put the bigger things first, then I stack it on top of each other. She fails, she tries again. And when I try to engage myself in the play, not scatter it, more or less like, what are you doing? Leave this place, my friend. No. When you begin to teach children that way, you begin to treat them that way, what you are doing, number one, you are killing that connection. You are disconnecting yourself from them. Number two, you are killing their confidence. It has been proven by research that children who often grow up to have confidence, have very wonderful childhood memories. So it's quite important for us to understand that. So there are some play-based activities that we actually could do at home that could, help, make this playful parenting work. Now, there are cases where, children, you see that your children are said they are so playful, they are stubborn, they are this, they are that, and because they are like that, because number one, that is the nature of children to play. Number two, you are an adult and you don't think like them. So you probably always feel that, these ones, what are they doing? What's it and that? My daughter would, once she finds a biro, I paint my house white. So once she finds a biro, the next thing she will do is to go to the wall and then she begins to scribble on the wall. She has a book, she won't scribble, but she will go and scribble on the wall. And she will do it joyfully. I told the mother, don't worry, it will just cost me a little paint. Just let her do her scribbling. Now, I've seen that over time now, she already knows how to handle a pen. Now, that is a skill. And a soft skill, which is the fine motor, by developing the little fingers, she's able to do that because we're able to involve ourselves in how she grows. This, in fact, can I tell you something that children develops a lot of intelligences while they are still quite young. And when they have an enabling environment that can help them, it will really go a long way. So when parents get involved by creating time, that's number one that I've said the other time. And two, by using certain play-based activities, intentional activities. Sometimes we do our climbing, sometimes we run around, we sing and run around, and she jumps up. I know what I'm doing because that's development of, physical. And then one thing that is strong that I want you to know is the emotional, development. Emotional development, will not suffer. Why? Because I've been able to, relate with her, and then we talk, we chat. Sometimes when we're talking, you probably think I'm talking to an adult, and you will see that she will understand me. Many times I say, okay, can you go and do this? And she'll go and do it. But, how do we get there? We start talking. Now, as she continues to grow, that kind of relationship is supposed to get deeper, whereby you channel the energy of children towards play. For example, I was saying earlier on that if you have children in the house that are, running around, they're always playing, stop jumping, stop doing this. Now, this what you just have to do is to channel their energy to play-based activity. For example, you can create a task and tell them, put a reward there, to motivate them, and tell them that okay, this particular thing I'm doing, okay, I want you guys to do this. This is what the first person who does this will get this, and then if you really create the activity, it is very, very interesting. I could ask them to draw something. I could ask them to solve a puzzle. I could ask them to. So by the time I do that, and I also get involved in correcting their mistakes, they will not only be learning, you will see them so actively engaged. So now, let me say that this playful parenting is not something that African parents, really buy into because they probably feel that it's a way to spoil your child. That's why will you be playing with children? That their own is to go inside and sit down there. You don't tell children to do that. You try as much as possible, as parents to, make it fun. Childhood memories is supposed to be fun. In fact, can I say that 90% of the things that your children learn, they learn it from home before going to school. Do you know that if you are the type that you don't encourage your children or you don't really have time to chat with them, to play with them, and all that, to reason with them. Number one, you discover that those children will become withdrawn in the future. They will be withdrawn from you. You just have this that I don't know whether maybe you had that with your parents where you probably were so withdrawn from them that maybe, okay, I don't talk with mommy, but I think I used to talk with my dad, but I don't talk with my mommy and all those things. So all that was caused because at a certain point in the early childhood period, there was an issue, and the issue was with parenting. So I'm trying to say that playful parenting is just a way to whatever you can do to make connection with your children, whatever you can do to ensure that you create this confidence that they can always talk to you, that they can always come to you, and all that. Because as soon as children get to the age of accountability and they are in their teenagehood, I'm telling you, they begin to want to make independent moves. If you have not created that playful parenting and you have not gotten that connection, you might lose them when it gets to that point. And you probably be asking questions. So it starts from when they were months old, to 2 years to 3 years. You create a deep connection. You create activities as they grow. The activities you create must be according to their age. So there are different range of activities you can do. You can either do quiz, you can play games, educative games. You can watch educative movies and then they summarize. You can read books. You can have a club within the house. There's so many things you can do that can make that playful parenting, a success. I don't know if I should go to um, okay. I want to see if I should go to parents uh, and child relationship.
Yes, sir, you can. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now, what are the things we need to do to ensure that? Because in playful parenting, parent-child relationship is the key. One of the things we can do is, number one, we must ensure a child-friendly communication. Child-friendly communication. You see, one thing is that, do you know that children really love someone who speaks like them? There's a way you talk that will be child-friendly. There's a way you will talk that will not be child-friendly. I mean, even, for example, there's sometimes I scold my daughter when she has done something that is wrong and she has done it repeatedly. Sometimes she looks at my face. If I give her a smile, then she smiles and continue. But if I give her a stern look and I warn her, I say, don't do that again. Then you see that, in fact, for the first few minutes, she might not even come near me. She'll be looking at me with one eye. And so when I stretch my hand, oh yeah, come, then she comes to me. I know that it is very important, even at that level, to ensure that there is a kind of communication, there is a feedback that I get, But when we lose that communication, you see, if you don't communicate well, when your child gets to school, she will communicate with someone else. She will choose someone else as a partner to communicate with. And the scripture says that evil communication corrupt good manners. So this playful parenting will enhance the communication. And so communication is one of the things we can use to enhance parent-child relationship. Very, very important. Your child will get home and tell you this. Do you ask your child when your child gets back from school and ask, okay, how did school go today? What happened? Gist me. Okay, let's talk. And all that. And then maybe weekends you create a time and then let's do this game together. Let's do this together. You begin to see that your children will begin to ask certain questions that you never expected that they would ask you. And by that, you are creating communication, ways. Okay, another thing is patience. I don't see anyone working with children who is not patient. There's a need to be patient with children. In fact, there's no way you can do playful parenting without being patient. You have to be patient. If you need to see us when we are playing our games, you have to be very patient, because when I'm done, she wants to continue. And there's a way I will channel the energy to something else, and so that she can continue her home play. That's why I do other things. For children that are grown-ups, maybe around who are almost in their teenagehood, one thing is that you have to be patient to listen to them. Because many times, children being children will do things that are childish. That's probably, there are some things that needs the rod, there are some things that will need the staff. And staff is for correction, rod is for discipline. But even when you are going to discipline your child, there's a need for you to understand, to know exactly, try to listen to their own point of view. When you begin to do that, you will discover that they will begin to gain confidence. When they make mistakes, they want to own up for it. And I know they will say, okay, I will explain to mommy. When they explain, if it requires a rod, yes, they will know there is a rod. But you see, when everything that happens, the next thing is a slap. You have given the child a dirty slap. The next thing you have knocked the head. The next thing you slap the back. You see, one day you want to be the child, you say, no problem. Shebi is just scary, you beat me, no problem. And then they will come, they will do there, she, and that is a sign of defiance, being defiant. And then the child becomes defiant that you cannot control. And so another thing is there's a need to understand your child's, your child's capacity. Let me say you must respect the principle of individual differences. Playful parenting will require that you understand principle of individual differences. Why? No child is the same as the other. So when you begin to compare your child with another child out there and say, you see, that's how that your friend, that one, see the way he's doing, see the way he's doing very well. I don't even know what's wrong with you, self. What's your problem? You just be playing around. One thing is that you have not actually sat down to see what is the difference. What is the difference in that child and your child? What thing does your child have that seems to be an edge? That child will have something that seems different from what others have. So every child is not the same. The abilities, the mental capacity is not the same. So when you don't compare your child with anyone, that is how you can be satisfied and contented, so that you will be able to be focused to know what to how to help your child better. Another thing is every child is born with one or more intelligences. Every child is born with one or more intelligences, and that means that your child may not be very good at mathematics. If I ask parental people on this platform, many people hate mathematics. They don't even want to see fear of numbers. Meanwhile, they will tell the child, they say, you see, when I was your age, I was doing well at mathematics. It's a lie. But one thing is that your child may not be good at mathematics, but the child might be someone that is very good in kinesthetic things. That is, someone that is good in sport. Because you feel that those people that play ball around, you want to be playing ball around, and you did not read your book. What's your problem? You don't know anything. Meanwhile, you can see that this child, every time when they do that sport, is always the first. Is very good at sport, but he's not good at mathematics or some of the subjects. Yes, academics is important. He's supposed to do well. You can help him further. But there's a need for you to identify the strengths of your child and develop that. That is where you can also channel your playful parenting towards that direction. So, for example, a child who has musical intelligence, why not get the child a piano? Why not get the child a trainer? Why not be serious and make a career out of it for that child? While the child is still doing his or her studies. In that way, you will be involved in the development of your child, and that parent-child relationship will be cordial, because that's what the child will do when that place where is most comfortable.